It's Liam Alexander Stewart with Inside the Ropes, and I'm back again with another fantastic interview for you today. You can see my guest over to my left. We're talking about one of the premier performers of professional wrestling. One too many P's there. We're talking about a four-time Reign the Reign as champion, a former Knockouts champion, former Knockouts tag team champion, two-time AAA Luchador of the Year winner, former Impact Knockout of the Year winner, and for everyone who knows how much we love dog talk on this channel, the owner of two of the most adorable dogs in professional wrestling.
That's the most important statistic right here.
Definitely. You know, we always like to leave the biggest accolade till the end of the list. And I think anyone who's seen your two adorable puppies will know just how impressive it is. It's none other than Taya Valkyrie. Taya, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. It's been a busy day here. We've had like the 4 days of Scottish summer, and now it's back to the bleak rain. So everyone's a little bit happier about being in the house than we were over the last week, but excited to be doing this and excited to be working a little bit more with NWA. We are here, of course, ahead of NWA's 74th anniversary show on August 27th and 28th, which, if fans don't know, you can get over on Fight TV, less than $40 for the 2 nights combined. Link is down below, so make sure you grab that. It's going to be a great show. And I think with that being said, it only makes sense to start with NWA 74. Night one, you're going to be taking on Kamille for the NWA Women's World Championship. How are you feeling going into the match? And for people who maybe aren't familiar with NWA's Women's Division, yourself or Kamille, what should they expect when the two of you enter the ring on August 27th?
Obviously, I'm extremely excited about being part of NWA 74, this huge pay-per-view, this huge opportunity to go after the NWA Women's Championship that's been held by, some of the trailblazers of this industry. So if you're not familiar with me and Kamille, we're two absolute badass, tall and strong and dominating women. And that's exactly what you should expect that day. Neither one of us is backing down. Neither one of us is going in there just kind of nonchalantly. We both know what we want to do. And we want to, I obviously want to become the new NWA Women's Champion, but we're also going to put on one hell of a show.
Definitely. And I mean, we mentioned at the start that you've already got this impressive resume of sort of championships and accolades, but I think an NWA World Women's Championship added to that list is a long time coming. So we're all rooting for you and hoping you get the job done, and hoping when night 2 comes around that you're going to be able to keep a hold onto that title once you win it, because we've got the curve card there with the Battle Royals. So have you got anyone in mind that you would particularly like to face if you win the title on night 1, or is it anyone and everyone, bring them on?
I mean, obviously anyone and everyone, but if I was to be, just pick one, I'd love to have another match with Kylan King. I think she is incredibly talented. I think we have phenomenal chemistry, and we just, we work the same kind of style. And so, if she wins the Burke Invitational and I'm the new NWA Women's Champion, then I would definitely like to give her an opportunity.
I love it. I think that would be a great match. We saw you guys lock up not too long ago, and it was a fantastic match. So I think that'd be a great rematch for the fans. You've had an interesting sort of 12 to 18 months to get to this point in NWA. You were part of that really unfortunate group that had the COVID period just before, and then coming into WWE.
The weirdest 2 years in human existence. Yeah.
I sometimes think about just how crazy that sort of 2-year period was in terms of, outside of anything wrestling related, just the idea that there was actually a global pandemic where we couldn't leave our house for like a year. It seems like the starting point of like a Michael Bay movie, but no, that was reality for a while.
We lived that. We all went through it.
Yeah, and then you came into NXT. There was a lot of hype behind you. Obviously, you were coming in an established name, and then Triple H goes down after a cardiac arrest, and Vince and Bruce Pritchard come in, kind of change the mold of NXT, and it's that unfortunate time-told tale at this point of budget cuts and yourself and sort of your husband John finding yourselves released. Getting from that point to where you are now, what was that like mentally for you? Was there a period where you were kind of like, I don't know if I can be bothered going back into this, or were you like, you know what, let me prove everyone wrong, I'm going back out, I know what I'm doing?
I mean, obviously there was a lot of like second guessing myself, because it was just such a crazy, weird experience. I think more than anything, especially right after that, I was just like, what the hell was that? Like, did that happen? Did that not happen? Was that a weird movie or a dream that I had? Like, it was just such a weird time. And now that I have time to like reflect on it, obviously coming out of being at NXT, I was obviously second guessing myself just because of like how incredibly weird the experience was for me. You know, Triple H and Shawn were phenomenal from the get-go. Obviously, me coming there and them being so excited about me, just as excited as I was to be there. You know, like this is like this crazy moment. I mean, I didn't believe that I was even going to get there until I was walking in the door. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, that whole beginning part was awesome. I have nothing bad to say about it. And then when everything kind of went down with 2.0 was when things really took a turn. People seeing differently, people thinking of the product differently creatively, people with different views on what the fans want, or I don't even know, really. Honestly, it was just weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely second guessed myself. I definitely had moments where I was like, I don't even know if I want to wrestle anymore. Do I still love this? Am I any good? Like even though I'd had so many wonderful things happen in my career, I obviously have been through a lot. I didn't take, the easy road by any means. It was very hard for me to get to this position in my career. But at the end of the day, this is what I love to do. Like performing feeds my soul, and I need that. It helps with my mental health, and it helps with my, happiness and everything. So at the end of the day, I just had to kind of, lace my boots up again and give myself a little pep talk and, dive back in. And that's exactly what I've done. And I think I've proven that over the last, 8 months, that this is where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be a professional wrestler. This is what I was born to do. And I'm never going to let anybody tell me otherwise. So I think, and I've proven that 100%.
Definitely. And I think, since you come back, we've seen you sort of Impact, NWA, Hurricane Pro, sort of all over the place, putting on absolutely fantastic matches. So I think the fans are delighted to have you back doing what you do best inside sort of the ring. We're in, wrestling has had sort of no shortages of craziness over the past sort of 4 years now. COVID, the Triple H's cardiac arrest, and now with Vince stepping down and Triple H coming in. We've seen a few people. We've seen Dakota Kai, Dexter Lumis, Hit Row start to come back, sort of guys and girls that have been brought in by Triple H during that NXT era that he obviously saw value in. You mentioned sort of earlier that Triple H, Shawn were excited to have you there. If that call was to come in, is it one you'd be willing to field, or are you kind of a bit like doors closed on that opportunity? I'm done with that.
I don't know. It's such a weird, you want to never say never. That's just how the way this world works. And I've said my piece about how my experience was and everything like that. I mean, at some point, who knows? I really don't know. I really don't know. It's very hard because you never know. Like this world is crazy. Like you don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now. If I had told myself 6 months ago what I'd be doing now, I would not have believed it. So you never know. I am just, even if I never set foot in a WWE ring again, I'm just excited for everyone that is there and all the future superstars to have someone like Triple H at the helm of the ship. Definitely.
We mentioned that we've been all over, NWA, Impact, Hurricane Pro, AAA. But one place we haven't seen you pop up yet is AEW. And I think it's somewhere that was kind of one of the places people first kind of expected you to pop up after you were let go. And, I think that was a combination of the timing of, AEW were taking a lot of new people in at the time, and yourself being one of sort of the, if not the premier female athlete in that division at the time, being in a position that could have done with some strengthening. Was there ever talks between you and Tony about potentially going in, or is it just something, again, that up to this point hasn't happened?
Once again, never say never. I think everything is about timing, and everything is about coming in and doing something at the right time. And I really, if I am to go there at any point in my career, which I'm completely open to, obviously, but I just want it to be the right time, and I want it to be for the right reasons, and I want it to be with a really cool story or an angle or something like that, or with John, or you know what I mean? There's I always compare wrestling to like pick your own adventure books. If I'm aging myself, I'm so sorry, but you never know. And I have Thunder Rosa at the Triple Mania in Mexico City in October for Triple Mania 30. So I'm going to be dabbling a little bit in that and figuring out how to take down their AEW Women's Champion. So you never know where I'm going to pop up. Wrestling right now is so exciting and interesting and crazy because we're able to work across a lot of platforms and across all these different television shows. So it's a very exciting time for wrestling. It's also just a very exciting time for me.
Definitely. You mentioned your match against Thunder Rosa there, sort of Triple Mania. One thing that I always find really interesting, I was a guy that grew up on a lot of Lucha Libre. That was kind of my main route into expanding my wrestling fandom. What to you are some of the biggest differences between sort of a Mexican wrestling crowd and a crowd in sort of like California or, you know, Florida?
Well, I think actually the crowds in California are more similar, you know, to the Lucha Libre crowds. I love wrestling here. Obviously, this is where I live. So in Los Angeles. But overall, and it's definitely very different. You know, I think that the closest to what a Lucha Libre crowd could be was when we were in like the Lucha Underground Temple, for example, where the crowd was literally part of the show and the temple was a character in the show. If you think about it, you know, the fans in Mexico are just so excited about everything. You know, this is ingrained in their culture. Lucha Libre is such a huge part of who they are. It's the second most popular sport to soccer within Mexico. So it has a huge level of respect. They are just so emotionally invested in every character, and like being a heel in Mexico is dangerous. Like, you know, so this time around being a baby face it's been lovely because it can be, people are so emotionally connected to what is going on, and the fact that I was able to blaze my own trail within that world, you know, as a Canadian girl from Victoria, British Columbia, to take over the Lucha Libre scene has been insane. And sometimes I think about it and I'm like, how the hell did I do that? Or what the hell was I thinking? But it's just been incredible. And like, I'm just excited to be back, you know, at Triple Mania 30 in La Arena Ciudad de Mexico, like the biggest, newest, coolest arena in Mexico City, and be able to do what I do.
I love it. One of my favorite things, I said this, the interview before this was with Homicide, and we were talking about Mexican wrestling again, and sort of that, and the one thing that kept coming up is how bad anything in Spanish sounds in the Scottish accent. They just do not compute.
Can you please say my nickname? Say my nickname.
Oh, you don't want me to say we're loca. It does not come out well, and it's one of those. I remember, like, even saying things like Ray Phoenix, it's fine, but if you try and do it in any way, or like Cripply A, it just sounds so harsh. It's one of those. I sit there and I'm like, I want to say it properly, you know, I'm educated, I know it, and then I'm like, it just sounds worse. It sounds like I actually don't know what I'm saying.
You're forgiven. You're forgiven.
I want to ask you about a topic I found really interesting, because you're no stranger to intergender wrestling. You know, we've seen you take on the Lucha Brothers recently as well, tag team matching. You know, you've had intergender matches throughout your career, but it's something that whenever a high profile match seems to pop up, you seem to get, I think, especially an older generation of ex-pro kind of come in with opinions of it, and, you know, it's dangerous for the business and this and that. As someone who's been involved in it, I wonder what your thoughts are on that sort of point of view, and also if you think that now that women's wrestling is being treated on the whole a lot more equal to men's than it was, you know, 20, 30 years ago for sure, if you actually think it's something we might start to see more of now that people are a little bit more receptive to the idea of, like, you know, Rhea Ripley could beat up Dominic Mysterio, for example. You know, people are able to...
Oh, poor Dom. Poor Dom. I mean, I will always be an advocate for intergender wrestling, also because of coming from Lucha Libre. Intergender wrestling is extremely normal. For example, like you said, in Verano de Escándalo, I teamed with the Lucha Brothers. We're now called the Lucha Squad, versus, you know, Chica Tormenta, Taurus, and Hijo del Vikingo. So doing these types of matches for me is second nature. So I just think that it's believable. I don't really know what the problem is. And I feel like, I don't know, you know, wrestling is what you want it to be. You know, you don't have to like everything. I don't like everything. You know, I don't like every movie. You don't have to like every match there. You don't have to like every style. That's just the way this is. So I'm just an advocate for it. I think that it's believable when put in, you know, like if I'm wrestling Drago, like I'm taller and bigger than Drago.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick his ass. Like it's just if you are gonna give that argument that like a big strong man can't beat up a girl, well then you just look at that, for example.
Yeah.
You know, I've wrestled Rey Mysterio on Lucha Underground in a tag match. I've wrestled Brian Cage. I've wrestled all these phenomenal you know, performers, and there is a level, you know, of believability. And I absolutely think that I should be allowed to go after the world title at Impact. I do think that I should, you know, be able to go after the mega championship in AAA, because guess what? Vikingo is smaller than me. Like, come on, guys. If that's the argument that you think like I'm a poor, you know, helpless woman, give me a break.
No, definitely agree. And it's funny you mentioned El Hijo there. It's another one. El Hijo del Valquino just does not sound right with the Scottish accent.
And he's like so talented, like absolutely beyond ridiculous talented, you know. But like that's something that I think that should be allowed to happen.
No, definitely agree. I think coming back to the idea of sort of the evolution of sort of women's representation in wrestling, you're kind of one of the sort of the key matriarchal figures, of kind of professional wrestling. You know, you've been in it over 10 years now. How do you think wrestling is doing on the whole with sort of the treatment of female athletes? You know, it's obviously improved, but are there areas where you think this still needs to get taken care of, be it sort of, you know, the things we've seen with sort of the fans' interactions with Sasha and Naomi recently that, you know, there was getting far too hands-on, or is there stuff within the business as well that you think, yeah, we're doing well, but this really needs to get sorted?
I mean, I do think we've come an extremely long way, especially since, you know, when I started to now, it's very, very different. I still think we have a long way to go, obviously. Yeah. It's unfortunate, you know, there's certain things about being a woman that are ingrained in society in their heads that, you know, we shouldn't main event, or we shouldn't get paid the same, or we shouldn't get the same opportunities. But, you know, we're 50% of the population.
Yeah.
Like it or not, we're 50% of the population. Like, give us those opportunities. And we've proven, especially in the last, 5 years, how thirsty and excited and like how much we want this, you know, we just want we want respect. We just want to be held to the same level as the men, because we work extremely hard. Women have to work a lot harder a lot of the times, because we are fighting for that one spot on the card. Why is there one women's match on a card?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that. Like I said, we're 50% of the population. There's a lot of us that are unbelievable athletes, performers. We can talk, we look cool, we're badasses, you know? So give us those opportunities. And I do feel like indie wrestling, put more women on your show. We are, we draw money, we're badass, give us those opportunities.
No, definitely. And I think that that's something that's super important. And, you know, I think it's great to see, we see on social media more and more kind of the fans rallying together to kind of support this message, and that having that platform for people like yourself and, you know, other super talented women to come out and be like, hey guys, what's going on here? You know, there's been X hundred shows by whatever promotion and one's women match on each. What's going on? I think it's
the fact that there's still some indie companies that don't have women on their show is just like mind blows me. I'm like, in 2022, we're still doing this.
It's also just a poor business decision. You know, you mentioned being 50% of the population. It's that thing of, you know, there's a saturation point of where companies aren't going to grow past any further by looking to appeal to just men. You know, 50% of the population is a massive demographic to completely ignore. So
exactly, that's what I mean. So, you know, give us a shot, guys. Come on.
And so we always end on a quick fires 20 questions sort of thing. But before we do that, there's one question that we've started to introduce, because we've got a lot of viewers here that are training to wrestle or want to train to wrestle. So before we go into 20 questions, I always ask the same question, which is, if someone was walking into a wrestling school for the first time, before they take a bump, before they've learned to lock up, before they've run the ropes, what would be that one piece of advice you would give them that would serve them for the rest of their career?
As simple as it is, you have to work hard. This is not easy, and you will be tested over and over again. I'm still tested now. You know, like, do you really want to do this? Yeah, it's extremely hard. This business is extremely hard, but it's so worth it. You know, like, it just, like I said earlier, it feeds my soul and makes me happy, and it's my happy place. And you know, you just have to really work hard. And I was recently speaking to someone who had a girl who had just started wrestling training, and I just told her, you know, work very hard, study everything, get those matches. You know, like, once you've gone to the school and you've done your training, go and have as many matches as you can, because there's so much you can learn. There's only so much you can learn at a school that you can learn, you know, in front of fans, because your fans are also your teachers. You know, they're responding to what you are doing. So you have to just work hard, and you have to want this 1,000%.
I love that line, that the fans are also your teachers. I think that's a great, for anything in front of a crowd, I think that's such an important thing, is to be receptive to, you might think that your best move, or the thing you're the best at is this, but actually if the fans are responding to X, Y, and Z instead, well, maybe you should listen to the fans there. I think that's such an important thing. We're going to jump into rapid fire 20 questions here. They're nice and simple, bit of wrestling related, bit of non-wrestling related. Just the first thing that comes into your mind. So we always like to start with the first one, which is, what's your go-to cheat meal?
I love a McDonald's Big Mac.
You can't go wrong.
No.
A long time ago, I used to work at McDonald's for a few years, and it was the one thing that I never got sick of was the whatever the Big Mac sauce was inside it.
Secret sauce. What is that?
I wish I knew it. The only reason I got the job was to learn how to make it, but we never got there. But no, great choice. What's your favorite video game?
I am not a gamer at all.
That's
nope,
totally fine.
Never have been. Never will be.
But my favorite bit is sometimes people won't want to say that. They'll think that it's not given an answer when it is. So they'll try and pick something, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I used to play Snake on my phone on my Nokia," and I'm like, "You can just say that's totally fine."
I know nothing about gaming whatsoever. I never have. I don't know. Like, I'd rather go shopping.
Fair. What would you be watching if you had a day of Netflix and chill?
Well, I'm a huge reality TV junkie, so
Nice.
A lot of 90 Day Fiance, a lot of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and all true crime.
You're speaking my language. My go-to is either awful reality TV. 90 Day Fiance is a favorite, still not over Big Ed, and and alongside that, I'm just a big fan of any crime show where it's like got a little spin on it. So Bones, Criminal Minds, that sort of thing. That's me. And then my fiance is into the proper true crime of, this thing actually happened. That's where she likes to get stuck
recently. Like, there's that one show, I think that it's Lifetime that put it out, about people that discover people staying in their house.
Yes, yeah, like in the attics or in the walls and
stuff. I was like, what is this?
I was sat just putting the cup to the wall, making sure that there's nobody in there. But
I look at my crawl space or my attic, and I'm like, it's just someone up there.
Current renting prices, it just did make me consider if I could rent out the space between my walls. I think it'd be a good way to make some money. What actor should play you in a movie about your life?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Margot Robbie.
I like it. I think she could do it as well. I think she's got the tenacity for a Taya Valkyrie role. I think.
I mean, she's Harley Quinn, so I feel like.
Yeah, true. The crossover.
Yeah.
What's your favorite musician or band?
And this is honestly, like, I don't really have a favorite because I generally like all types of music. I'm not someone that specifically just listens to one thing. Yeah. But I mean, recently I've been listening to the new Beyonce album, and I always love me some Cardi B. And I'm also just like a sucker for some Spice Girls and some Britney Spears.
You can't beat it. I'm always nervous whenever someone asks me to put a playlist on, because I know if they hit shuffle on my phone, it's a complete mess. I'm like, whatever this comes on as is gonna, is it gonna be a little bit of Kodak Yellow, or is it gonna be Spice Up Your Life? Like, I'm getting judged either way, so let's just see what it is. So on that note, if you could only listen to one song for the rest of your life, what song would it be?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm gonna go with like Up by Shania Twain, because she's Canadian, and I recently watched her documentary, and I just was like, oh, she's such an icon. And also just like her music just like is happy and fun, and yeah, why not? We'll just say that.
I like it. So the next one, it's the most controversial question of all. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes, absolutely, pineapple on pizza. Because I mean, pineapple on pizza, pineapple on my tacos de pastor. I love it.
I like it. I only recently had pineapple in tacos, or in like a soft shell taco, and blew my mind. So I've completely changed on it. Big fan now. Yeah. What 3 islands would you take with you if you were stuck on a desert island?
Items. I don't know. I'll take Bowie, Presley, and John. There you go.
I like it. I like it. That's all you need. I always find it funny. We always get, whenever we do that question, I think there's a really clear divide between the males and the females, because the females always go really sentimental or logistical. You know, they'll be like a plane, fuel, and whatever I need. The guys are always just like, yeah, a TV, a DVD player, and beer. And I'm like, this is why men die younger. It sums it up, doesn't it? What's your secret talent?
I'm actually a really good cook.
Nice.
I like cooking, and I like feeding people and my friends. You know what I mean? Feeding my friends and everybody. Yeah, maybe that's my secret talent.
What's your go-to like signature dish? You know, if people are coming over, what are you making?
Like, I can make a very fancy charcuterie board. I know that that's not actually like cooking, but I love
a charcuterie board.
Bread for my friends, you know, and making whatever it is, you know, like I don't really have a go-to, because I like to experiment, and you know, I just got a new air fryer, you know, I'm trying all sorts of different things. But yeah, I make a mean charcuterie board, and it also is like visually beautiful. So
we'll have to work out how to get one shipped to the UK, because you're speaking my language. We Christmas just gone, I wasn't cooking, but I felt like I needed to make something, so I made a little Christmassy charcuterie board and made the mistake of filling everyone up before any of the other food had been served. Yeah. So,
and I'm half Swiss, so like my whole, you know, like cheese is just in my blood.
I'm off to Switzerland in 2 days, off to St. Gallen, so I'm looking forward to just binging constantly. That's my plan anyway. What would John say is your most annoying habit if he was feeling brave?
If he was feeling brave, I have to be on time. I hate being late. I absolutely hate being late, and he's the complete opposite.
We'll get there when we get there, sort of guy.
So he would probably be like, she's always just wants to, you know, she's always just like, let's go. That's probably what he would say.
I like it. What wrestling match, not involving you, have you rewatched the most?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I can't like pick one. I feel like I watch everything, you know what I mean? Like I watch tons of lucha. I watch a lot of Japanese wrestling. I watch, you know, the American style wrestling. I watch all different shows. I watch everything. So I don't know if it's particularly one in specific, but like I've watched more than others.
Just anything and everything's kind of consume it all. I like it. It's the way I think that's it's best to kind of learn almost through osmosis as well. And also just it's so different wherever you go, you know, Japan, exactly. Mexico. I think as Mike Bailey always talks about, kind of the spectrum of wrestling. On one side you've got Japan where it's like where it's performance, and in Mexico it's like sort of like a show, and it's
chaos.
My favorite. Chaos. Yeah, listen, my favorite thing, the thing that first got me gripped into I think into Mexican wrestling in general, into Lucha Libre, was the subways getting like the subs getting handed out. I was like, what's going on? Because the music came on, they came out, they were it blew like little 13-year-old Liam's mind. So listen, the show aspect works. What's your pre-match ritual? I'm
a pacer. I pace back and forth constantly because I'm always just thinking about what's going to happen and stuff like that. And I always try to drink a full sugar Coke.
Nice.
I find that I prefer that to drinking. Like, a lot of people drink energy drinks and stuff before they wrestle, and it just makes me like, I don't know. I don't like it.
A little too crawly.
I need some real sugar right before I wrestle.
I like it. It's sensible. Who's the biggest locker room prankster you've ever met?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I don't know if I've really there's not really anybody that stands out to me as, you know, a super prankster. I mean, I feel like in AAA, everyone's always kind of ribbing each other and telling jokes and stuff like that. So maybe it's just, like there, I feel like everyone's getting in on it more. Yeah.
I like that. That paints the picture backstage of AAA that was in my mind. So it's good to know that
everyone's making fun of one another and just laughing and giggling and being dumb, you know.
What's the weirdest fan request you've ever had?
I don't know if I can start talking about that. There's a lot, guys. There's a lot of weirdos out there.
it's always, again, it comes down to the difference between when I ask that question to a female performer and a male. The male, it's always like, they asked me to sign their baby, and then you speak with female performers, and it's I go for a shower afterwards because I feel dirty just by hearing it. And everyone to their own, blah 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 blah. But when you're DMing someone randomly over the internet about it, that's where it makes me a bit.
It's a bizarre, strange world out there.
yes, it is. What's the best present you've ever received?
The best present would have to be Presley.
I like it.
John got me Presley for Christmas. Presley was our little, is our little baby, the TV star, Prince Presley. But yeah, I would definitely say Presley.
I have never seen social media take to any animal as quickly as Presley during those TV vignettes. I remember
everyone knew it was him too, because I remember them being like, do you think people are gonna figure that it's you and da 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 da? I'm like, listen, Presley is a big deal. Presley has also, been on television with me on Impact. He was, he's done a lot of indies with me here in California. So yeah, it was very. They were all surprised at NXT at first because everyone was like, "That's Taya Valkyrie's dog." Like,
he better be getting a cut of those indie bookings, by the way. A little puppuccino or whatever.
Yeah, he likes to be paid in bacon. So let me know.
Man after my own heart. Who was your wrestling idol growing up?
Trish Stratus.
Nice. I like it. It's a strange one because I feel like people either know the answer, like you straight to it, or they don't have a clue. And it's one of the two. It's never in between. What drew you to Trish when you were getting into wrestling?
Canadian,
of course,
Canada. I saw someone that was like me, a Canadian girl, and it gave me hope to be able to do something like this. And so she definitely is an icon in my eyes. She is a massive star who definitely paved the way for a lot of little Canadian girls that just wanted to be a wrestler.
I love it. Well, all you got to do now, win the NWA Women's World Championship, call out Trish. There you are. That's your.
There you go.
That's all you got to do. I'm sure it's as easy as that. Nothing else. Well, I'm assuming this might tie in then. Who's your all-time dream opponent?
Trish or Lita, probably.
I like it.
Because I feel like I relate a lot to Lita because of her going to Mexico. I've met her a few times. She's unreal. And Trish, obviously, because she's my, she's the reason that I got into wrestling, so why not? I would love to face those women for sure.
I love it. And penultimate question here. What's your guilty pleasure?
Well, I think I said reality TV.
I like it. And finally, who would be your dream guests at your dream dinner party? So you're having a dinner party. You can invite anyone you like, alive, dead, fictional, real. Who would you invite?
I don't know. I don't know. There's just, okay, well, I'll just go with Lady Gaga.
Nice. I like it. It's I think she'd have some stories. I think, and
I'm just like, she's one of her and Gwen Stefani are my style icons. So
Gwen Stefani, that makes a lot of sense. I can see a lot of the Gwen Stefani.
Pick either one of their brains about just for the performance aspect of what we do, So
I love it. Well, that wraps up all the questions I've got for you. So thank you very much for coming on. But before we go, I want to throw over to you. Obviously, we've got NWA 74 coming up, so fans should definitely check that out. The fight link for both nights will be down below, $39.99 US for both nights. So it's a great deal. There's some incredible stuff on the show. Taya versus Kamille, like we mentioned, but you've also got Tyrus versus Trevor Murdoch. You make sure you check out the Murdoch interview below as well to hear about that. But Taya, before we go, if there's anything else you want to plug, any upcoming appearances, merch store, social media, anything like that, the floor is yours.
Yeah, just thank you everybody for following me through this crazy year and also just my entire career, which has just been the journey of a lifetime. Let's just put it that way. I really appreciate it. And just follow me on social media on Instagram and Twitter at the Taya Valkyrie, Facebook.com/Taya Valkyrie, and all my exclusive content, my weekly blogs, my photos, everything you need to know about me, TayaXO.com.
Perfect. There you have it, guys. All those links will either be on the screen now or down below, wherever the editor puts them. And other than that, as we've been saying recently, please remember, more than anything, to be good people.
Be kind.